Standard Time with Tutor Ayo. And in today's tutorial, it's going to be a continuation of our yesterday's class. We're going to continue with the abbreviations, the certain terminology we were talking about. And as soon as we are done with that, we move into the pre-colonial period as we talk more about that. All right, just before we go into things, let's see what we have on the comment section. So I have Mr. Emmy says, "Good evening, sir. Good evening, it's great to have you on board." Simi and good evening, all. It's great to have you on board. So you know how we do it. You all are expected to come with your writing material. So we have. You all are expected to come with your writing materials, your pen and your book. All right. Take note of the points, and as soon as the class is over, send the picture of the notes you have taken down, you jotted while the class was ongoing, so the general class or to your private class. All right. With this being said, let's go straight to it. And for those of us who are willing, all right, to join the private class, a lot is going down there, and the semester has just begun. A lot of students are yet to still do the registration, so we are using the opportunity to inform the general public that to join the private class, just go to the website, which the link to the website is attached to the description of this video. All right, just below this video there's a thing that shows description. When you click on the description, you see a drop down of all the departments we're taking, and you can navigate through, go to the website, find your department and join. The requirement to join will be sent to you as soon as you respond respectively. All right, respond to the requirement, you'll be added to the group. Okay, with this being said, let's go straight into it. Okay, now we have POL126. So to begin with, we'll be talking about the term GDP. All right, talking about the term GDP. Okay. Now, when you hear GDP, what comes in mind? GDP. Okay. Now, GDP is an acronym for gross domestic, all right? Gross domestic product. Okay, gross domestic product, an acronym for gross domestic product, which basically it means, all right, it's a measure. It's a what? A monetary measure. All right, it is a monetary measure for the market value. All right, a monetary measure, okay, monetary measure for the market value. Okay, GDP is an acronym for gross domestic product, all right, which is a monetary, all right, which happens to be a monetary measure. Okay, a monetary measure, and this measure is to what? Is to weigh the market value. All right, measure, all right, of all, nothing is left behind, of all market value, all right, of the market value, okay, of the market value of all right, of all final goods and services produced in a specific time. Final, not processing goods, all right? Any goods that is being produced, all right? Any goods, a goods can be said to be produced if it has not gotten to the final stage. literally, all right? So any work in progress production doesn't eat GDP, all right? Any work in progress production does not eat GDP, all right? All, all right, all the market value of all final, all right, goods that hit the final production level, all right, the transformation process is complete. These are the goods that hit GDP. Are we together? So the final, all final goods and services produced. So just let me just use G and S. Goods and services produced. All right, produced in a specific. All right, it's time bound. All right, in a specific time by country or countries. Produced in a specific time by a country. Are we together? So basically, GDP, all right, puts into consideration the final, all right, goods and services produced in a specific time, all right. It's time bound, all right, by a given country. Are we together? So all goods that are gotten to the final stage of production is what its GDP. So we have that as that. Now let's check. Now GDP measures the monetary value of final goods and services, that is, those that are bought by final users. Like I said earlier on, final goods, goods that are ready for consumption. All right, final goods. All right, goods ready for consumption. All right, like I said the other time, goods that are not ready for consumption don't eat GDP. So these final goods we are talking about here, these are ready-made goods, goods that are ready for consumption. Okay, so goods, okay, produced in a country for a given time. All right, it counts all output generated within the border of a country. All right, GDP also counts all outputs. All right, it counts all outputs, OUT as output, all output generated. All right, it's put into consideration all outputs, all right, generated within, all right, the border, within the borders of a country. Okay, it puts into consideration all outputs. All right, final goods, outputs, all these are all the same thing. All right, within, let's put this consideration, it doesn't include external. All right, it's only within, all right, the borders of a country. So we have that as that, and there's something called all right, HDI. All right, HDI. There's something called HDI, and HDI happens to be Human Development Indicator. All right, Human Development Indicator. All right, HDI, Human Development Indicator. All right, what does HDI translate? All right, HDI, all right, is a summary measure of human development. All right, measure of human development. All right, HDI is a summary measure of human development. All right, this is the measure, all right, the summary composite measure of a country's average achievement. Now, talking about human development in a country, how do we get to know, all right, if human development in a country has been achieved? Now, it is in these three basic aspects, all right, the three basic aspects whereby a country's HDI is being measured is: one, confirmed in three basic aspects. One, we have a long and healthy life as measured by life expectancy at, we have maternity, all right, rate, all right, we have, probably we can just put that as a long and healthy life as measured by life expectancy. Now let's put it in this, right, let's put it in this life expectancy. Let me put it like that instead. Life expectancy, all right, that's one. So let's say two, all right, high level of literacy, all right, high level of literacy, and a decent standard of living, a decent standard of living, all right, life expectancy, all right, high level of life expectancy, high level of literacy, and a decent standard of living, all right. This is how in measured, all right. So we have that as that. So permit me to raise the board so we can take some other things. Now we have we have the ICPC as a POL126. We have the ICPC. All right. The ICPC is said to be an independent, all right, ICPC, independent corruption, all right, practices commission, all right. Now let me put that down: independent corrupt practices, in full, independent, all right, corrupt practices, all right, and other related all right, and other related offenses commission. All right, in full. But according to what we have here, ICPC simply means Independent Corrupt Practices Commission. Independent Corrupt Practices Commission. Independent Corrupt Practices Commission. All right, but in full is what it means. That's what it means in full. Okay. Now this is a Nigerian agency, all right, inaugurated on the 29th of September. All right. Inaugurated all right on 29 all right of October 2000. All right, 2000, in the year 2000. Sorry, that was a mistake. Not October, it's actually September. Sorry, September. All right, inaugurated on the 29th of September 2000. All right, following the recommendation of President Olusegun Obasanjo. Now, the mandate of ICPC, all right, is to receive and investigate report on corruption, all right, and in appropriate cases, all right, prosecute the offenders, all right, as they receive reports on corruption and inappropriate cases, all right, they prosecute the offenders, all right, they examine, they review, and enforce the correction of corruption, all right, examine, okay, they examine, they review, and enforce, all right, they review, they look into it, all right, they examine, they review, and enforce the correction, all right, the correction, something that has not been done properly, all right, the correction of corruption prone system, all right, and procedures of public bodies. All right, examine, review, and enforce the correction, all right, correction of corruption, of corruption. Okay, so we have this as that, we have that as that. Okay, now let's talk about the IMF. That's next on the list. All right, IMF, all right, which stands for International Monetary Fund. International Monetary, all right, Fund. That's IMF, International Monetary Fund. All right, the International Monetary Fund is a major financial agency of the United Nations. A major financial agency, all right, of the United Nations. All right, nations. Now, international finance and international financial institutions. Now, it is funded, all right, funded by 190 countries. Funded by 190 countries. All right. It has its headquarters in, all right, in Washington. HQ in Washington. All right. Washington. Okay, I think there's a G here. Oh, my marker. All right. Washington, D.C. All right. So we have that on IMF. Now, the IMF is regarded as a global, all right? It is regarded as a global lender. A global lender. All right? A global lender. All right? It lends money to countries. All right? Members. All right? If you're not the member of the IMF doesn't borrow you money. All right? Only lend money to its members. All right? Its stated mission is working to foster global monetary cooperation. All right? Its stated mission is working to foster, speaking of the IMF, they are out there, all right, to improve global monetary cooperation, all right, secure financial stability, all right, facilitate trade, all right, facilitate trade, all right, secure financial stability, secure financial stability, okay, and reduce poverty around the world. Okay, this is what the IMF is all about. Now, the IMF was established on December 27, 1945. I think I need to erase the board so we can established on December, all right, 27, 1945. Now, it was established as IMF, all right, established on December on December 27, 1945. Okay. Now, basically, the IMF started with just 29 member countries. All right. Started with just 29 members. All right. Started with just 29. Okay. '29 member country. Member countries. Okay. Now it plays a central role in the management, all right, of the balance of payment, difficulties, and international financial crisis. All right. So we have that as that, and we have other acronyms like the NDA, Nigerian Defense Academy. All right. We have the NPC, that is the Northern People Congress. All right. And we have TIN, which is the taxpayer identification. All right. So let's just let's continue. Let's go into the main topic for this evening. All right. So all that and many more in the keynotes, as members of the private class will get there. Okay. So let's talk about, as soon as this is done with, let's talk about the pre-colonial period. All right. The pre-colonial period. All right. Now, the pre-colonial period we are going to be discussing basically is characterized, all right, by primordial. All right. Characterized, all right, by primordial, all right, primordial communities. All right. When we say primordial, we are referring back to ancient times. All right. Ancient communities. All right. The notion of ethnic identity that are fixed to nature, and ancient. All right. We are talking about ancient communities. All right. Basically, this is what we are talking about. We are saying, all right, the time and era before colonization. All right. The time and era before colonization. Okay. Now, as a case study, primordial community, we are talking about ancient communities before colonization. All right. So we have that as that existing from the beginning. Okay. Now there were diverse polities. All right. Inhabited by varieties of ethnic groups. All right. Diverse polities, all right, and ethnicities. All right. Diverse polities and ethnicities, ethnic groups, different ones. All right. And when we say ethnic groups, we're talking about social. All right. All right. When we say ethnic group, what are we talking about? We are talking about a social, all right, a social group, okay, all right, a social group in a large community, a social group in a large society, all right, set apart and bounded together by common ties. I think I should put that down. Okay. All right. A social group, all right, or category of the population, or category of the population that, all right, category of the population that is set apart, all right, set apart and bounded, all right, together by common ties, all right, by common ties, language, nationality, or culture, all right, language, nationality, or culture, all right, ethnic group, a social group, all right, this social group, all right, or this could be a social group or it could be a category of the population, all right, and this category of population or this set of people, all right, are set apart. You know, in research methodology, there's something called sample of a population, all right. Sample of a population is derived from the main population, all right. There can be no sample of a population if there was never a population. So a sample of population is a very small amount, all right, a small amount of the population randomly selected, all right. This small amount of the population is randomly selected from the main population, okay. So then we refer to them as sample. So it cannot be detached completely from the population, all right. It's just a well concentrated selected few that a researcher chooses to make his findings about, all right. So basically this is what a ethnic group is all about, all right. The ethnic group is referred to as a social group, all right, that they set themselves apart. This particular set of people, even though they live in this country, they do their things separately, all right. Their culture is kind of different, all right. Like in Nigeria here we have varieties of ethnic groups, all right. We all are Nigerians, but inside Nigeria there is Nigeria. That's what I'm talking about. So basically the ethnic groups are just very small group that are tied together by their culture, by their language, and their nationality, all right. So we have that as that. So let's continue. So we have so basically there are three types of social political grouping, all right, in Nigeria, all right. So let me erase the board so we can take that. The three types of social political grouping in Nigeria. That Legendary TV, you came late. So we have three all right, types of socio-political, all right, socio-political grouping, all right, in Nigeria. All right, now the first one we're talking about, all right, basically when we say socio-political grouping, all right, we are talking about a grouping that comprises of a central state, all right, a grouping, all right, the socio-political grouping comprises of a central state, a central, all right, a central state, basically a centralized state, all right. Now the caliphate in Borno and, all right, the caliphate in Borno and Sokoto areas, all right, shared indigenous African values and Islamic political system, all right, which is a framework of Sharia, all right. The first one is a central state or a centralized state, all right, and we can liken a centralized state, all right, a central state to the caliphate, all right. The caliphate in Borno and Sokoto, all right, I think it's just okay, if I'm not mistaken, all right, area, all right, that shared indigenous African values and Islamic Islamic political system. All right, indigenous, all right, political values and Islamic political system. Which is tantamount to framework of Sharia. All right, framework of Sharia. All right. So, secondly, we have the socio-political grouping, all right, of centralized states of Western, all right, / Mid-Western states, which is the Yoruba and the Edo lands. All right. The second socio-political grouping is that of the centralized states of Western. Okay, Mr. Larry to be saying working. It's okay, I can understand. A lot of persons are not even on the stream tonight, and I believe it's because of its work. All right. The good thing is that the class is always here. You can always revert as soon as you are back from work. All right. So the most important thing is that we just have to have classes. All right, so that we can cover a lot before we start our TMAs. All right. So we have the centralized states of the Western, all right, / Midwest state / Western / Midwestern Midwestern, all right, states of Yoruba and Edo lands. And we have lastly now we have the indigenous social political grouping situation among the Igbo, Ijaw, all right, Tiv, Urobo societies, all right, in the pre-colonial Nigeria, all right. Now, basically, let's not forget we are taking our bearing. We are talking about the pre-colonial period, all right, the time and era before colonization. That's what we are talking about, all right. So before we can talk about what happened, all right, before we can begin to unravel chronicles about the things that happened there, all right, politically speaking, we need to dissect the geopolitical zones, all right. Social political grouping needs to be done, all right. And according to what we have in our material, this social political grouping in Nigeria then was basically three, all right. We have the first as a centralized state of the Caliphate and Sokoto, all right, sharing the framework of Sharia, all right. And we also have the centralized state of the Western and Midwestern states, all right, comprising of the Yorubas and the Edo that run on monarch system, all right. And we also have the third one, which we are about to treat now, which is the socio-political group situation among the Igbos, all right. The socio-political grouping among the Igbos, all right, Ijaw, all right, Isoko, all right, Tiv, all right. We have Urobo societies, all right, and Urobo societies, all right, and this consists of diffuse governmental authority where elders, all right, here is monarch, all right, here is diffused, all right, diffused governmental authority, all right, diffused governmental authority. I think I should write that clearly. All right, diffuse governmental authority. What do we mean by diffuse governmental authority? All right, here we have elders make decision based on consensus. What do we mean by consensus? Based on general agreement, all right, and unanimous decisions, all right, upon which expectedly, all right, will be binding on all right, and most especially the Igbos, all right, they exercise what we call the acephalous and stateless society, all right, where we have okay, basically this grouping, like I said earlier on, they have diffused, all right, diffused governmental authority, all right, meaning that elders, all right, elders make decision all right, based on consensus. All right, elders make decision based on consensus, and this consensus means when you generally agree upon something together. All right, unanimous decisions. All right, and this becomes all right, applicable, or let me use binds all. Because attention is drawn towards the egos that operate all right, operate what we call the acephalous. All right, acephalous and stateless. All right, and stateless, acephalous and stateless. All right, decentralized. All right, culture. Okay, so basically we have that as that. So permit me to erase the board so we can take the last set of things we're taking for tonight. All right. All right. A highly decentralized, all right, a highly decentralized, all right, system. All right. So we have that as that. So as we progress, we're going to be talking about some certain things along the way as we define. All right. So we're going to be talking about some certain things that point. Please, if you're on the stream and I have to smash the like button, do well to smash the like button. And we're going to be talking about certain things that point at what we are gunning towards. So let's quickly talk about theocracy. All right. When we say theocracy, what are we talking about? All right. Theocracy now, theocracy in the advent of the primordial era. All right. Theocracy in the advent of the primordial era. All right, we're going to be talking about that now. But basically, what is theocracy itself? All right, theocracy is a system of government which, all right, priests rules, all right, in the name of God, or God religion has made an important force for facilitating a radical political, and basically this is a system of government that, all right, a priest rules in the name of God. All right, a priest rules in the name of God. All right. So in the golden age, all right, basically there's this assumption that sometimes if things go wrong in the community, all right, the gods must insist that somebody, all right, must step to the throne, all right, and there's something called golden age, all right, and this is said that this is going to be an era that will usher in justice and bliss, all right, an era, all right, that an era that ushers that usher, all right, in justice and bliss, all right. So basically, let's call it a wrap for today here, and in our next class we're talking about how theocracy was used um, in the primordial era. All right. So thank you very much, everyone. I believe I've been able to gain a thing or two in today's class. Do well to take a picture of your note, all right, and send it to the private class, all right, or to the general class if you're not a member. All right. Thank you very much, everyone, and I look forward to seeing you all in subsequent tutorials. Have a wonderful evening.